I have a video ready for you, man. Brad Garlinghouse will be discussing the Trump influence on cryptocurrency. Additionally, we now know that a significant number of Japanese banks are beginning to use XRP. I've done some research. I'd want to show you some details about this. Additionally, things are happening. We will discuss the issues surrounding A16Z and the CFTC, Mexico and Ripple, and ETF approvals. We'll discuss a few more topics related to the state of the market, including a lot of XRP topics and a small portion of the market. Therefore, let's begin with Ryan Garlinghouse. Maybe I'll come to you, Richard. Additionally, we have already heard a little bit about the Trump factor today, but I believe that everyone in attendance would be curious to hear your point of view in light of this regulatory landscape discussion. I wonder if you could simply give us a quick explanation of the whole consequences of a shift to a purportedly pro-crypto administration in the United States. Yes, Richard made a statement that I wholeheartedly concur with. On the one hand, the U.S. GDP accounts for roughly 22% of the global GDP. There are 78% of those jurisdictions that are already very pro-crypto. However, I also think that the U.S. has had a significant and generally negative influence, which has been really annoying. Additionally, I believe that the Trump effect is still underappreciated. I constantly get anxious now, and yesterday I overheard someone say that expectations are really high. I consider the negative more often than the positive when expectations are high. But I believe that the world's largest economy is going to undergo a significant shift, and I believe that there will be a Trump effect at home. However, I also believe that there will be a significant ripple effect outside of the U.S., where the U.S. alone has a disproportionate amount of influence. Look, with just 4 or 5 days remaining in this administration, I believe we are still witnessing Gary Gensler's lack of sincerity. It has been, and I was conversing with a few people. To give you some background, this film was clearly taken just a few days prior to Trump's inauguration. Additionally, I want to briefly discuss the developments in the cryptocurrency market during the past few weeks. Just let me finish this clip. The audience, and at some point, it would be good to see some accountability for some of these issues. We won't, I doubt. People will, I believe, move on. To a certain extent, that's acceptable. We'll be in a better place. However, I believe that investment in the U.S. will increase. One of the main problems we're discussing, I believe, is simply unlocking the next 10 years when the world's largest economy and its institutions feel freed from handcuffs. For the past 4 years, Ripple's operations in the U.S. have been halted. The case was filed in December 2020. Additionally, over the past 4 years, our capacity to conduct business in the U.S. by signing institutions to IT has essentially been locked out, but that will soon change. And is it accurate to say that Ripple is already re-entering the U.S. market? Yes. Yes, almost immediately after the election results were announced. The majority of the people we hired were from outside the United States starting in the latter part of 2020. I estimate that 78% of the company's hires last year came from outside the U.S. In our business, you follow your customers where they are. As a whole, 95% of our clients are from outside the U.S. I'm optimistic that we signed more contracts in the U.S. in the 6 weeks following the election than we had in the 6 months prior, as I openly stated. That's before they've even entered office, isn't that correct? Therefore, I believe that we may have overestimated how the headwinds that we have all experienced will turn into tailwinds as we begin to see the individuals that Trump has appointed take office and effect change. And I have a lot of hope for what will happen. Those headwinds, that's essentially what he's been discussing over the advice administration's 4 years, isn't it? You're essentially heading into it headwind with the wind only pushing you back. You're not making much progress. The wind is now blowing at your rear end. Therefore, you will be able to push yourself as the wind will be able to do. That's what he was aiming for, I believe. For institutional clients and those in these kinds of high-caliber positions, I do believe that cryptocurrency will see a significant improvement. It goes without saying that we have been anxiously awaiting the ability to use cryptocurrency in American banks. That does seem like it will begin to occur here. As soon as this actually starts pushing it up, I believe you'll start to notice how much value will be exchanged on the XRP ledger. Furthermore, you do have additional locations outside of the U.S. that are even farther away, correct? Laws and regulations have been passed by them. They have established a clear regulatory framework, and banks in Japan will now capitalize on Japan's progressive outlook on the cryptocurrency industry and how DLT would essentially benefit them. In other words, the Japanese government and banks upgrade their entire financial environment at a relatively low cost. They'll play this for you now just a little bit. In Japan, cash is used for many transactions, and I believe that the reason why individuals in Japan may not use digital wallets and similar tools as frequently is that they haven't witnessed a significant technological transition that would encourage new people to embrace new technology. As a result, I believe that Japan embraces these technologies and that they facilitate the usage of digital wallets by regular people. I believe that the use of cryptocurrency wallets to pay for goods will lead to a new adoption curve, with millions and millions of new users beginning to trade with XRP. Allow me to play this now. As a result, more than 1,600 cryptocurrencies employ blockchain technology today. We've all most likely heard of Bitcoin, and some of us have heard of Ethereum. Nearly all banks in Japan are beginning to use XRP, also known as Ripple, among many others. Thus, there are several. Is he watching a video because the background is different? That's strange, isn't he? Does anyone else notice that he's wearing the same jacket? The Rakuten board is missing, though. I fail to see it. All right, that's strange. Let me quickly pull this up. I always look up more information about Japanese banks, such as how many there are. The sheer number of banks in Japan is astounding. I mentally miscalculate the number every time. Let's simply pull it up. Thus, there are 61 regional banks in Japan. In addition to the second organization of regional banks, they have 36 member and regional banks. You do realize that they have 5 city banks. In the future, the majority of Japanese banks will be able to use XRP and Ripple, and that's quite thrilling. I do believe that a sizable portion of them are getting ready. You have very positive news as well. When you list XRP on a North American exchange, billions of dollars are invested in it. It goes without saying that the more large exchanges that are able to list XRP once more, the more value that will be exchanged on that ecosystem. As a result, XRP will start trading contracts tomorrow, February 14, 2025, with CFTC approval, which is equally significant. Thus, tomorrow, February 14th, is the date of the XRP cryptocurrency event contract. On that day, this video will be released. The CFTC site is another option. The exchange plans to make the XRP cryptocurrency event contract available for purchase. That's a huge deal on Crypto.com, then. Additionally, the volume of RLUSD exceeds 100 million within a 24-hour period. Take a look at the $115 million over a 24-hour period. And we're only just getting started, guys. This will be $1 billion, $5 billion, or $10 billion before you realize it, and it will simply go off from there, in my opinion. Additionally, you have a Web3 from Edward Frino. Ripple's ODL for digital payments will soon be integrated into a Mexican bank. Built on the XRP ledger, MXI is essentially Mexico's SEC equivalent, ensuring regulatory compliance in preparation for the integration of Mexico's future CBDC systems. Here is that system, which is obviously the documentation for Ripple. The payment flow is as follows. The bank account, credit card, or debit card enters Ripple's on-demand liquidity. Then there's the good news, custodian, fiat, and cryptocurrency wallets. The user spends any balance here. Iris protocol and DeFi suite are mentioned.